of telemarketing in Grand Island, Nebraska. And we've been working with Julie for a while now, coaching some of our clients and educating our clients on kind of adapting to the new way of doing business post-COVID, and maybe reshaping your marketing plan, redoing your marketing plan. But the results have been very positive. So a lot of kudos to you, Julie.
Thank you.
And Julie's going to be running an 8-week marketing academy. And this will be our first session. And it'll be every Wednesday morning for the next 8 weeks at 9 o'clock. So I don't want to take away from Julie's time. So I'm just going to kick it off to you, Julie.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining. Like Pete said, I'm the owner of Tally Creative. We're here in Grand Island. We're a full service marketing agency. We're a team of 8, and we just really help businesses anywhere from brand new, one person, helping them develop a business name, all the way to companies that have been around for 30, 40, 50 years, oftentimes with the rebranding. We're actually helping a local company here with having their 100th year anniversary. So we're doing a big rebrand and a big promotion for that. So again, we work with businesses of all sizes, all ages, and really we just want to be that marketing partner. And so we want to come along businesses and just help them, give them the tools, the tricks. We are really an open book. There's nothing that we won't will hold back. And so as you have questions, please feel free to ask them freely. If it's something that's very specific or something that you maybe want to have a one-on-one conversation with, I put all my contact info at the end of this slide, and I'd love to, talk to you one-on-one if you just have some questions. There's no charge for that initial consulting, and if there's just some things that you want to work through together, I'd be happy to talk to you. So this presentation is Social Media 101, which is a hard topic to plan for because everyone is at hopefully some level of social media, but at different levels. And so I just really wanted to spend some time today and encourage you and give you some tips, some tricks, some best practices, and hopefully kind of give you some energy behind this social media. Now more than ever, when we can't meet with people face to face, having a strong social media presence is more important than ever. It used to be that just having a presence was enough. But now your social media can really help your business or it can hurt your business. And so we really need to, social media is often the last thing that we get to at the end of the day because we're busy business people who are we're running our businesses. Social media is the last thing that we have time for. But if we don't make a priority, it's going to actually hurt our business in the long run. There's this weird perception that if you're not posting on social media, you're not doing anything. When the reality is we're often doing so much that we don't have time for social media. Would you guys agree that that's often true? And so it's finding that balance of not letting it consume you, but also having a strong strategy and just being fluent enough that it can add to your business. I guess right now, we're going to go over several platforms today, just again, on a real aerial view. Are there any platforms just starting out that anyone would like to know a lot more about, or are there platforms that you're currently using? Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Twitter. Are there any that anyone would like to know more about than others?
Probably Facebook Marketplace.
Okay. Yeah, and we'll probably be spending the most time on Facebook just because right now it is still #1 in business. That may change, but right now it's the most user-friendly for business and it's most widely used, especially in the Midwest and those areas. So let's go through this together, and please, again, jump in, ask questions. I'd love this to be a conversation, and I'll leave some time for questions at the end as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, I hope everyone can see that okay. And let's get started here. All right, so again, today we're going to try to go over some of the best platforms to use for your business, when to post, frequency, best days and times, and then some simple tricks to boost your engagement rate. It's one thing to know how to use a platform. That's obviously obstacle one. But what's almost more important is what to post, what content to post. So it's one thing to know how to use it, but it's another thing to know what to actually post on there, what to talk about, what people care about. So we're going to spend some time going over that. So I'd encourage you to have a notepad and pen, and as these topics come up, as ideas for posts come up, please jot them down, because hopefully that'll help you build out your calendar for the next month or the next quarter. So the first thing we like to talk about when we talk about social media is ideally every platform should have a different strategy. Now that can be a lot of work, but we talk about social media platforms a lot like we talk about events or things in our life. You would not wear the same outfit to a girls' day out for coffee as you'd wear to the office, as you'd wear on vacation, as you'd wear to a wedding. We have different outfits and kind of different personas we put on depending where we're at, right? You're gonna show up to a business meeting or a meeting with your bank a lot differently than you're gonna show up to a girls' night out, right? And so our social media presence ideally should be different per platform. So if you are posting the exact same content across every platform, again, that's very similar to wearing the same outfit for a month to every single thing you go to. Is it possible? Yes. Is it ideal? No. So as we talk about these platforms, kind of in your head, think of them as different outfits that you put on or off depending on who you're around or the kind of clientele you're trying to attract, things like that. So let's keep this kind of graphic in the back of our head. And as we're talking about different platforms, kind of put on and off those different outfits or personas. All right. So just a few quick statistics here. The reasons we have to be on social media is about 45% of the population is on social media every day. 71% of people would say that if they have a positive experience on social media, they're more likely to recommend that company to a friend or family. The average person spends 3 hours a day on social media. This statistic's from 2008, so it's probably more like 4 to 5 hours a day on social media now. That's much longer. Do you know anyone that works out for 5 hours a day or grocery shops for 5 hours a day? There's no other activity in our life that we do for that many hours a day. So that's a huge impact you can have. We're going to go over just a little bit. These might be some topics to get those wheels spinning about what to post before we start talking about where and how to post it. So these are really reasons why you should be on social media and what the role really is. So number one, we should be using social media to tell our story. This is your opportunity to connect with the audience on a personal level. It used to be that we only got to see behind the scenes on, maybe Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood or, back on business open houses, but really consumers feel like they have the right and they want to see behind the scenes. So telling your story through candid behind the scenes, if you are shipping out products, they might want to see how your warehouse looks or how shipping looks. Down to if you're testing your food for your restaurant, they might want to see the whole table of food with your friends testing it. So we used to be so careful about, well, this isn't perfect. And now we really want to tell our story, even if it is just those behind the scene pieces. Social media is powerful because with a small budget, we can go a long way, especially if you're really targeting a smaller demographic, like your town or even within a 50 or 60 mile radius. Even a $3 a day budget on social media can go a long way. So that's something that's really important. We want to stay top of mind. Top of mind means that if someone hears of a service or a business, like let's say I think I need a plumber, whatever business comes to my mind first, they earn that top of mind spot. And so even if people aren't reading your information or being very engaged, just by seeing your name up there, hopefully whenever that time comes when they need your business or service, your goal should be to come top of mind. You also get a unique opportunity on social media to learn from our competitors.
We gotta go to the store to get some cheese. After mommy's meeting, we'll go to the store and get
We can
some.
see how our competitors are attracting their audiences. We can see what products they're offering. We can see what questions people are asking. We can also we can see their customer service and compare it. So just by having that insight into our competitors, that's something you should be doing on social media weekly. And there's some really great tools to do that. Powerful call to actions are something that's always important on social media. So if you put a post saying, we offer free estimates, you should always include a call to action. What do you want that person to do next? Do you want them to call today and leave a phone number? Do you want them to visit our website to set up an appointment and leave the link? Do you want them to message below and we'll reach out to you? You need to make sure that if you're asking someone to do that, schedule an appointment, check out this product, place your order today. We need to give them the next action step, and we need to make that as simple as possible. So instead of saying call today for a free estimate, we need to say call 308-380-4525 for a free estimate. And ideally, that should also then in the post itself, you can put a call button where if they're on a mobile device, they can literally click call. They don't even have to type in the phone number. So the easier we can make these call to actions, the more successful we're going to be. We need engagement. Engagement is king, and we're going to talk about some ways to track engagement. If you're posting just to post and no one is liking, sharing, or commenting on your post, then you're really, that's not a good use of your time. You need to be creating content that people care about, and your goal should always be to increase that engagement. Again, engagement is anything that's a like, click, share, or comment, or a call to action that actually gets used. We use social media a lot in our office for A/B testing. So let's say that a local softball team asks you to sponsor them, and you get to put a banner in the outfield. That's a request often small businesses get. And that banner, let's say that sponsorship costs you $500 for the year. Well, you could just take a design and put it out in the outfield and hope people like it. Or you could create two banners, share one at Monday at 9 a.m., share the second banner the next Monday at 9 a.m., and then watch the engagement. Because sometimes you're surprised which banner maybe sticks out more to others. You don't have to say, this is our banner. You can just say, post it out there and see which one gets the most engagement. Even as a graphic designer, oftentimes I'll have a design that I love for a billboard, and then I'll create a second one that's maybe not my favorite. I'll do an A/B test, and oftentimes my second pick gets more engagement. And it might just be a font, it might just be the background color, something simple. But I use that A/B test to determine which billboard, flyer, banner I'm going to use, because that's a free audience that's giving you feedback. Now, we talk a lot about brand and trust, and really the only way you can build trust in your company is through consistency. We talk a lot about McDonald's French fries as an example. We know if we go through McDonald's and we order French fries, we automatically know about how many we're going to get, about how much it's going to cost, about what they're going to taste like. We even know down to about how many French fries will be in the bottom of the bag when you get home. Do you guys agree with that? And it's because McDonald's has built the trust. Every time we go through the drive-thru and we order French fries, we know about what we're getting. If I went through McDonald's and ordered a medium French fry and they gave me curly fries, I would be confused and that would lose some of my trust. If I also went through the drive-through and I ordered a medium fry and I got to the window and they said, yep, it's $9, I would be confused and that would lose some of my trust, right? Or if I went through the drive-through and they gave me 6 fries in my medium fry, that would lose my trust. And so the way that companies build trust is consistency. And that can be consistency in the quality of your product, the consistency in your tone of voice, the consistency in your customer service. Those all build trust. And that's something that you can show through your social media. So if you tell someone, I'm going to get right back to you, you actually do it. Or if you say, watch tomorrow for our new products, and you actually do it, that's all building trust with your customers. And this is social media is a great way to build trust, even when they're not a customer yet, because that means that they're understanding your product, your voice, your imagery before they even get to use you. So then by the time they become a customer, that trust foundation is already laid. Social media is also a living portfolio for you, and people will scroll and scroll to see it. Think if you were looking to get a new tattoo and you went to a tattoos artist Facebook page, you would scroll to see their work. Or if you're going to go to maybe a restaurant, you would scroll to see their work. Now, that doesn't mean that restaurant special that they posted 2 weeks ago is going to be the special today, but it's their portfolio that they're building that's going to gain our trust. So even if this St. Patrick's Day meal looked great that was available 2 weeks ago and it's not available today, it has shown me their portfolio of how great their food can look. And that again builds that trust. The number 10 thing is we talk a lot about being a thought leader. It's really a way to say you're the expert, but in business, to be a thought leader, you can be a thought leader without sounding like you're bragging or like you're a know-it-all. And so we use the term thought leader versus expert. So you know your product best, you know the process best, and you want to be perceived as the best in the industry. So by using different words, different terms, different images, you can be the thought leader in that industry. So again, if you're a plumber and you're posting about this new training that you went to, and you're posting that you use this type of PVC pipe, and the reason it is because it's the best in the industry. And let's say that you had to do this really huge job, this commercial job, by posting those things, you're telling people that you're the expert, that you know what you're doing, that you care about quality, all without coming out and saying it and sounding like a know-it-all. Do all of those reasons make sense? I'm going to stop my share real quick and just kind of, are there any questions about those reasons or anything that kind of stuck out about that?
Makes sense to me.
Great. All right. So those are some reasons again. So if you don't know what to post, or let's say, and we're going to kind of go through some of those, try to go through, and again, we're going to share this presentation with you and pick out one of those things. Pick out something that's going to build some trust. Maybe pick out something to build your portfolio, or find something that's an A/B test. So those are all 10 of those things would be great posts. And by building a strategy that's diverse, by doing those over time and building those into a calendar, that's going to help you diversify your portfolio, diversify your social media, and while doing all the other things at the same time.
Can you give like some more examples of running some A and B testing, like as far as Facebook and stuff like that?
Yeah, so let's say that I even have a picture of a product. Let's say that I'm about to, let's say that I make candles and I'm about to put together a brochure with a candle, and I need a front image, let's say. So I have 3 pictures of candles that I really like, and I can't decide which one I should put on the front. And oftentimes we're biased because maybe like I do this for headshots. I take a lot of headshot photography. And if there's someone that I just didn't necessarily click with, their headshot won't be my favorite because I remember the person and the scenario and things like that. So I might be biased. So let's go back to this candle situation. Let's say that I have 3 pictures that I like, but maybe one's not my favorite because I remember what a pain in the butt it was to get that picture. And I remember how I kept getting distracted and things like that. So I might post all 3 pictures on my social media. Now for A/B testing, we try, just like, we got to go back to junior high science class. We try to take out as many variables as we can. And so you might post all 3 pictures at the same time on the same post, or we might post them once a week on the same day of the week and the same time. We try to take out as many variants. If you post one at midnight and one at 1 in the afternoon, that's not very easy data to compare. But let's say that I post all 3 of these candle pictures in the exact same post, and I say, check out our spring line coming soon. Whichever photo gets the most likes, clicks, shares, engagements, that is going to tell me that that was the favorite photo. Now, again, we're still talking about a group of our Facebook followers. So it's not a huge demographic, but it could give us some insight. Let's say that one picture doesn't get any response. We could throw that one out right away. So those are other situations where sometimes just having that group, that unbiased group, and you could even say, another way to do it would even say, we're picking out the cover for our new catalog, vote on your favorite. I mean, that's really putting it out there, but people will actually then take the time to do that. We've done that with logo updates before, updating the logo. Once we get down to the final 2, asking for feedback. People love to be a part of it. They love to be a part of progress. And so if you ask people for their opinions, they'll give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you can kind of decide if you want to do it behind the scenes or if you just want to put it on out there.
Okay. What about like days and times, like specifically times of days and which days of week would be like the...
We'll go over that. We will. That's coming up. So just hang on. And there are very specific times that make a huge impact.
Okay.
Are there any other questions before I go on? All right. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. And let's talk just a little bit about the different platforms and what we use them for. So when we talk about the days of the week, this right here kind of gives us a snapshot. This is a suggested how many times per week to post, and this would be the high. So this is kind of a snapshot. Twitter, to really make a big impact on Twitter, you need to be posting about 8 times a day to make a huge impact on Twitter, which that's can be a big feat. LinkedIn, we're talking about 1 time, even a couple times a week is good for LinkedIn. Facebook, we typically do a strategy of about 5 to 7 posts per week. If you're a business that operates Monday through Friday, I would recommend posting Monday through Friday. Maybe an interesting article on Sunday night or something like that. But if you're a restaurant that's open 7 days a week, you should probably be posting 1 time per day. Instagram is a little bit more, probably twice a day. 1 to 2 a day is good for Instagram. In Pinterest, it's really the sky is the limit. It depends on the bigger brands are posting up to, twice a day, 3 times a day, things like that. But that would be probably more of a national brand. Now, when we go through the different sites, I would really recommend to pick 1 or 2 and do them well. While there are all these sites and there's more coming up every day, you could spend your whole week literally on social media, and then that takes away from your business, especially if you're still small at this time. We have found that to make a growing, efficient social media takes about 10 hours a week, and that's on 1 to 2 platforms. to do it where it's actually bringing value to your business. And so again, that's why we really recommend doing 1 or 2 really well. Instagram recently got bought by Facebook. And so now to post on Facebook and Instagram has become a little bit easier. And so those two can in some ways merge into one. But I sure would not recommend, especially starting out, trying to do all 6 platforms at once. You're just going to burn yourself out and never want to look at your phone ever again. No, I'm just kidding. All right. And we really need to pay attention to our demographic. Pinterest is all about discovery. When we're on Pinterest, we're trying to give value to someone with really asking nothing in return. So I'm trying to give you this year's top paint colors. I'm trying to give you some decorating advice. I'm trying to show you how I would style an outfit for a photo shoot. But I'm not necessarily asking you to come buy the outfit from me. I'm just giving you value and hoping that you then click and decide to buy the shirt from the website that I'm posting it from. Twitter is more of the thought leading site. So if I want to be a thought leader, and if by telling people what I think of a brand, a politician, the social climate, things like that is going to help my brand. Twitter is so that you can share your thoughts, and it does create thought leaders in the industry. Facebook. Facebook is really not only to share pictures of friends and family, but it's often where we make our decisions. So if we need to decide where we're going to go for the weekend, if a friend posted something about vacation, we might decide to go there. But on the other side, if a friend said, hey, I just had this drywall done, it looks great, we're going to make a decision about who we're going to hire for drywall from there. So Facebook acts as a big decision maker in our lives more than we realize. Instagram is more of a sharing platform. And so it's not necessarily a decision maker. We're just really scrolling and we just want to be entertained. And we just want to Instagram is more of a kind of turn your brain off and scroll, where Facebook is more of an engaging, you might have to make some decisions. Snapchat is definitely for a younger demographic. The average age is 12 to 24. It's for quick messages. It works well for business if there's something that's brand new right now. There's a lot of real estate agents that are using Snapchat because if they have their clients that they're trying to find houses for, as soon as something comes up on the market, they'll snap them a picture. So Snapchat does not have to be professionally done. It's more for a, hey, check this out right now and get back to me as soon as you can. So if there's an opportunity that might get missed, again, let's say you're a tattoo artist and you have one spot that just opened up today, you could snap that because that's something that is going to come back to you very quickly. And then when it's gone, it's gone. LinkedIn, this is all for business. So this is to build those business to business relationships. It's so that if another business wants to recommend someone, they have trust. They know that you're going to be professional. You're going to treat that person with respect. So it is definitely a business-oriented social media site. So again, talking about if we were to wear an outfit to these different platforms, it's going to be a completely different outfit. It might be a completely different tone of voice. It might be completely different imagery. And so to do all 6 platforms well, and you'd really want to create unique content for each of them. So that's why, again, 1 or 2 I would recommend. Are there any questions just about all the platforms? We're going to go through 4 of them in more depth. We're going to go through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. But are there any kind of general questions right now about them as they compare to each other?
Not much. Sorry,
Link-
oops. Good old Zoom.
Sorry about that. Yeah,
Go
I had a question about LinkedIn. So I'm wanting to engage or build relationships with insurance companies and maybe some roofing companies through there too, but I feel like I don't know how else I'm gonna build relationships with insurance companies. I feel like that's probably maybe the the best way. I don't know.
Yeah, and one great way to build a relationship on LinkedIn, especially if you don't have a connection with the person yet, is to, if people are using LinkedIn effectively, they're often posting about successes. So let's say that they just won top 10 insurance agent of the year. They're in that category. Sending them a message and say, hey, congratulations. I know that that's a huge feat. I'd love to talk to you sometime because obviously you're a mover and a shaker. That would be one way to connect, or even maybe find an article that might connect to them about 2020. If I'm in roofing, I might find something about a new roofing technique that comes out in 2020, something new, and messaging them and say, hey, I just went through this training. I don't know if you provide this with your clients, but I'd love to tell you more. The nice thing about LinkedIn is it is a way to politely, as long as you're not over pushy, as long as it's not a sales piece, it's a let's help each other out. I see that we're both growing our businesses. There may be some mutual connections we can make. It's definitely like, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine, let's grow together. But the first thing is really just sending those messages and or maybe they posted an article about something, read the article and have a really good question to ask and message them.
So like a good way for example is like if I did a lot of work for a roofing company / home building company, I can go comment on their page about a property that I did, or I don't know if do they have pictures on LinkedIn, or is it just is it like kind of like just posts with words?
It can be pictures. It's a lot of articles. It's a lot of industry standard things. So it's, let's say that someone's a State Farm agent, they might post something about a benefit State Farm has, or they might post something about an award that they've gotten. So again, I think reading their posts and messaging them a thought-provoking question is a great way, because sometimes you put these posts out and you don't know if anyone ever reads them. So if someone actually reads it and actually sends a question and asks something, that's going to get that conversation started. And again, not being over sales on LinkedIn. It's really just a way to network, just like you would do at a ribbon cutting or an open house. It's just building those relationships. And then I would follow that up then with a phone call. And then you could say, hey, remember how we messaged on LinkedIn? I just have this special. Can I tell you about it? So it's really just to bridge those gaps.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you hear me? I've noticed on these different platforms that sometimes when I post, it gives an opportunity to make one post and go to several platforms. Do you recommend that? I've never taken advantage of it.
Yeah.
For fear that I would mess something up.
On Facebook and Instagram now, in their suite, that's something you can do. And it doesn't hurt. One thing I would say, like, especially to post from Facebook to Instagram, it's not going to hurt you. Especially if the content carries for both. I would say if it's something that you feel like is really a sale or something that you want people to react to, Facebook's going to be better. But if you're showing off your products, you might as well be showing them off on Instagram and Facebook. So no, I wouldn't say you'd mess things up. It's probably not going to be as efficient as creating content for two platforms, but it doesn't hurt anything. Yeah, so I would encourage you to try it, or at least with some things. Instagram, again, everything shows square. And so if I have something that's very panoramic, I maybe won't share that on both because I know it's not going to go on Instagram well. But that also encourages me to create more graphics for Facebook that are square, because square graphics work well on Facebook, and then they're easily to share on Instagram. So you might even think about that.
The part two of
Yeah,
is that I have an equal amount of video and still pictures, you know, or graphics. Does that transfer to YouTube in the same way?
You can do it a couple different ways. So if you post it on YouTube first it'll live on your YouTube page. And then if you share the link on your Facebook, that'll direct everyone back. So we always kind of talk about Facebook or social media is really I like to view it as like when stores go out of business or are new and you have someone standing on the sign, like swirling a sign. That's what social media is, but you should always intend it to go somewhere else. So if you post so maybe you want them to go to your YouTube channel. So you should always post videos on your YouTube and share the link, hoping that people go back to your YouTube and see more. Or let's say that you're going to share a portfolio photo on your website and then you share it to your social media, hoping that if people want more information, they go back to your website. Or let's say that you want to post a special and then you're going to put your phone number because you hope that people call you. If you're only putting things on social media and nowhere else, it can get lost really fast because once people scroll, they might never see it again. And so your goal is to have things live long-term on either a website, a YouTube page, into your own business, your own storefront. And then social media is really just that sign that's grabbing people's attention. And it's really not the end game. Does that make sense? Okay, let's keep going. These are great questions, and we'll have some more time here at the end. All right, so let's go through the different types. Again, these 4 most popular. So Twitter is definitely most popular on the East and West Coast. The Midwest really hasn't fully caught on to Twitter yet, and I don't know that we really will. So just keep that in mind. I am in Grand Island, Nebraska, which is the middle of the US, and there are very few people that only use Twitter. Sometimes they'll post the same information on Facebook and Twitter, they'll take the text and share it, but there's very few people that only use Twitter. Now, if I was in San Francisco, a large percentage of that population probably could just have Twitter or maybe Twitter and Instagram. But the purpose is it's up-to-date news, events, political ideology, quick thoughts, really your stance on the world, what it's doing. So again, if your business has a lot to do with climate or politics or things like that, Twitter would be a great place. Now, if I'm selling candles, Twitter is not really a great place for candles because there's not a lot, I hate to say controversy, but oftentimes Twitter is to create those conversations. And if there's not a lot of conversation to be had or different viewpoints to be had, then Twitter is not a great effective place for that. Now, it is a great place to share news events or events that are going on. So let's say that you're in concerts and you want to post, that you're at this concert or this band just showed up or you're just having an interview or you're about to be on the radio. Twitter's a great place to kind of keep people updated on what you're doing. So again, on Twitter, we keep it short. We have clear call to actions. We add little videos or photos, more of a GIF style. We're asking questions, we're running polls to create those conversations. Again, if we have something new, a new launch, a new grand opening, a new brand, it's a great place to launch it. It's a good place to test your voice. So let's say you wanted to run for politics, you could put your voice out there and see what people think. And they will tell you honestly on Twitter if they like what you're saying or not. You can also use hashtags on Twitter. So that's a good way to connect things together. So if I'm in the wedding industry and I'm a wedding photographer, I could say something on Twitter and then I could tag a handful of wedding magazines, maybe shows, things like that, hoping that someone will see my tweet and want to get in touch with me for maybe a promotional shoot or an interview or something like that. It's also a place that you retweet other people's tweets to show support. So if you support someone's ideas, it's kind of a way to band together. Do we have any specific questions on Twitter? All right. Let's move to Instagram. Instagram is really, the purpose is to tell stories. We want to define a culture. We want people to be able to look at an Instagram feed and feel like you know that person or that business. It's very, very visual. There's not much text on Instagram. So we really want people to, it's almost like looking at someone's scrapbook or looking at someone's photo album, or if you walk in someone's house and you see their wall of photos or their decor. It's a really quick way to see about what people care about, what they're doing. And again, a great way to show that culture. So Instagram, it'd be great to show what you and your employees are doing together, how you celebrate holidays, maybe social causes that you care about. Someone, again, it's a snapshot of your business, but it's kind of just in any social media. It's kind of a snapshot through rose-colored glasses, you know, of the good things. Everything on Instagram for the most part is happy. So you don't want to post struggles. You just want to post encouraging, good, happy culture type things on Instagram. This is where having that second platform is really, or the second plan is really effective. If you're just posting your business specials on Facebook and then you also post it on Instagram, it's not going to hurt anything. But people on Instagram don't really want to see business specials. And so you're not going to have a lot of engagement because they're going to kind of skim over that. Diehard Instagram users, they don't want to see business specials. They want to see what your business is doing and who you are and what inspires you and who you look up to. Does that make sense? Now, Instagram is starting to come along where you can create a business profile. You can, they're starting to get some business analytics. They're just building out their business account features. One difference between Instagram and Facebook is on Facebook, you create a business plan and then you assign admins and editors. In Instagram, you actually have like a login, like a username and a password. So one person on Instagram is still responsible for it. Where on Facebook, it can be a shared, The downside of having one username and password is that, let's say you have an employee or an intern set it up, and then if they leave and they have your username and password, there's very little you can do to redeem that. And so just make sure that if you do set up a username and password, that you're in control of it and it's not just handed off to a summer intern that has free reign. So again, it's becoming more business friendly, but as you can see as these pictures, it's still definitely more snapshot culture and not call for a free quote today. Let's talk about Pinterest for just, does anyone have any Instagram questions really quick before we move on? All right, let's jump into Pinterest. One of the best examples of Pinterest that I can see is the outdoor company REI. They create really high quality camping gear and outdoor gear. They have really mastered Pinterest. And the way they have done it again is providing value without asking for a sale. So my family and I, we went up to Niobrara this summer, did a big camping trip with tubing and kayaking and all of that. So every time I went to Pinterest and I'm searching packing lists, you know, how to repel mosquitoes and what to pack for a day out on a kayak, things like that. REI kept providing really good, really well-designed pages about how to dry a tent and how to package food so bears don't get in it, all of those kind of things. Now, all they had was in the corner was their REI logo. So REI wasn't saying, buy our tent. They were just saying, this is how you dry a tent. And in that corner was their logo. So I appreciated, even subconsciously, thanks REI, you really care that my tent's not going to be wet when I pack it up. So that subliminal messaging of they really care about me, even without asking for anything. That's the beauty of Pinterest. So again, if you're looking for paint colors, Bear Paint will tell you on Pinterest what are the trending colors. Now they're not telling you to buy their paint, and they're not telling you the price of their paint or what special they have at Home Depot, but they're just planting that seed, that top of mind awareness. So then when you do go to Home Depot to buy paint, you just happen to see the Behr logo and it connects and they helped you. So now you should help them by buying their paint. Most of Pinterest users are female. It's often a project-based site. So if someone is organizing a closet, planning a wardrobe, packing for a trip, that's what does well on Pinterest. Pinterest is valuable. What you post on Pinterest has a longer lifespan. It's repinned, it's shared, and if you link it to your website, 2 site visits per 6 page views. So everything you post averages 2 website views. So again, REI, if they post something, they know that people are going to click back to their site. Is anyone currently using Pinterest? It is its own beast and it's not growing fast, but it's one of the most consistent social media platforms that will probably be around a long time because it has so much on it, so many pins on it, that it would be very hard to start over with a new site. And so it's not the fastest growing, but it probably has a more solid base and longevity than most social media sites. So I would encourage you to put 1 or 2 things on there, even if it's a tip. Let's say that you install granite countertops, put a tip about how to care for granite. And that could drive business to you. Okay, now let's talk about Facebook, because I feel like that's where probably the most of you're on, or again, Facebook has made business easy, and that's what we appreciate. So Facebook, we're on Facebook, we're happy, we're sad, we're scared, we're passionate, all of the emotions come through on Facebook. Instagram, I would say, is more of a happy site. Twitter is more of a argue or thought-provoking site. Pinterest is more of an inspiring site. And Facebook is a little bit of all of them. So we know that if we go on Facebook, we're kind of opening ourselves up to all the emotions, and that's okay. So Facebook is asking, how do you feel? What are you doing? Kind of what do you need help with? If we think about Facebook, especially with their marketplace, if I need help buying a table, I can go to Facebook and they can help me with that. Let's dive into a little bit of what makes a great Facebook page. So let's just go through these one by one. Our profile photo shows up on everything we do on Facebook. So that profile photo should represent your brand well. Ideally, it should have your logo on it and either be a bright background like a white or some kind of texture or something that represents you well. If it's an abstract photo, it's going to be very hard if you message someone back for them to make out what it is when it's so small. Anytime you update your cover photo, which is the banner across the top, or your profile photo, it shows up on almost all of your followers' pages, more than any other post. So I would recommend updating both the cover photo and the profile photo quarterly, if not even monthly. Even if it's just a small change. Maybe you just change the background a little bit, or maybe you just swap out between your icon logo and your full logo, and maybe you just swap that every other month, but that'll show up and that'll be that subliminal top of mind awareness. We want to be engaging. So again, we want to be posting things that get likes, shares, and comments. If you're posting and you have 0 engagement, 0 likes, shares, or comments, then let's adjust that strategy a little bit. Photos get a lot more engagement than just text. Videos get more than both photos and text. So a video will get about 3 times the engagement of a photo, and a photo will get about 3 times the engagement of text only. So I would encourage you to do both. Links are also a great way to get engagement because hopefully they click right through to your website or wherever you're sharing from. You want your content to be value adding, and we want every word to count. One of my pet peeves is when people put something and they say, check out this video. Well, if you're posting the video, you're already kind of saying, check it out. So you could use that text to say, this, well worth a 3-minute watch. That to me is going to be more engaging than check out this video. Does that make sense? Just make sure that your words count. Also be very cautious of the words that you use often. One of those things is if someone says, I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited to work with this company. I'm so excited to go to this job. I'm so excited we just got this new product. Even if you are really excited, I would encourage you to broaden your word usage. Another word that's often overused is awesome or amazing. Again, just shift it up, shift it up and really come up with some content and some words that add a little bit more value. Again, post images, even cell phones take amazing pictures. Try to take things at creative angles, get down low, get down high, give a different perspective. Post something that's behind the scenes or something that people can't normally see. Your About Us section on Facebook is almost like your little mini website. It's going to ask for your phone number, your web address, your hours, a little paragraph about you. And in that About Us section, all of those things are searchable with Google. So if you post that you're a company, like if I said we're a full service marketing agency located in Grand Island, Nebraska, we do photography, videography, graphic design, social media, and websites. If I put that in my About section on Facebook, all of those words are going to be searchable through Google. And so if someone Googles full service agency Nebraska, hopefully my Facebook page is going to come up in that Google search. And so that should encourage you to put some of those keywords, some of those searchable words in your About Us section. Be consistent, decide how much you're going to post and post that amount. So 5 times a week might be a lot for you. So let's say you are going to post 1 time a week. That's fine, but try to post 1 time a week every week. You're better off to do that and show consistency. Remember, consistency builds trust. We're much better to do that than to post 5 times 1 week, not post it all for 3 weeks, post 3 times, not post it all for a month, post once. That consistency loses trust. And so whatever you do, whether that's 1 time a week, 2 times a week, 6 times a week, be consistent with it and really make it a priority. Diversify your content. We talk a lot about this. We use a 3-1-1 rule, which means that we post a engaging, an entertaining, and a educational post. Then we also do a hard sale and a soft sale. So we use that formula here in our office to diversify our post. If you're only posting hard sales, buy now, buy today, book today, come in today, that's going to turn your audience off. So you want an engaging post that's going to, hey, did you know? You want an educational post, something that makes people think maybe where you got your product from or maybe where one of your products is made. You want an entertaining post. This can be a meme, this can be a joke, this can be a blooper, this can be something that's just purely entertaining. Then you want a soft sale. Hey, spring, summer's around the corner. Get your yard ready. That'd be a soft sale. And then a hard sale would be call today for a free quote. So by using those 5 different methods, you're going to have a diversified content. On Facebook, you can use hashtags or @ to link other businesses. So if you partner together with another business, make sure to use them and that'll connect their Facebook users as well. And then use call to actions. Again, make it easy. Give them the link, give them the phone number, give them the address. Don't make people work too hard because they won't. So the easier we can make those call to actions, the better. All right, now just kind of this last one, and then we'll open it up for some questions. On Facebook specifically, this talks about when the best times to post are. And oftentimes I would encourage you to think about when you're online or when people in your industry are online. If you, so Sundays seem to have the highest engagement rate. So on Sundays, people are more likely to click, post, or share. That's also higher on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. people are most likely to view your posts at 9 a.m., 1 p.m., and 3 p.m. Now, when we think about these times and you kind of think about your day, it makes sense because 9 a.m., maybe you're just getting to the office, you're just getting settled. Maybe if you start your day at 8, by 9, you're kind of caught up on emails. And you can also relate these with coffee breaks or bathroom times, which is kind of silly. But this is the time of day when you are more likely to have a little bit of break or want a break from your day. 1 p.m. after lunch, you're just kind of sitting around. You haven't quite gotten into your next meeting or into your work back. So 1 p.m. is a good time. 3 p.m. is a good time. Sometimes when we're targeting moms or parents, we'll schedule when we think they might be waiting in line to pick up their kids from school. Because you know that 5 or 10 minutes when you're waiting for your kid, for my kids, sometimes it's 15 minutes when you're waiting for your kid to come out of school. You really don't have anything else to do. So you're often viewing, sitting there parked in your car on Facebook. And so we will target posts based on those times. Now, as far as days of the week, we don't like to post things that are going to take a call to action on a Monday morning because you're just getting into your week and you're not going to stop what you're doing to schedule a doctor's appointment. But on Thursday, maybe your week's caught up and that's something that you might think about. So just kind of use this as a frame of reference. We also use the business times pretty strictly. So if you're an 8 to 5 business, another really good time to post is, or that people have engagement, is around 10 o'clock at night. Because again, people are kind of settled down, maybe in bed, maybe on the couch. Kids are quiet. But if I'm a bank, I don't want to post something at 10 o'clock at night because I'm not working at 10 o'clock at night. So you also want to make your posts model your business hours. If I'm not open on Mondays, I don't want to post something on a Monday that says swing by and see us for spring specials, because if someone takes that literally, they will come in on Monday, the day you're closed. So just be cautious of that. People seem to be happier on Fridays. So to post little fun things, if you're, Fridays are a good thing to post things that make people smile. Posting at 3 o'clock will get the most clicks and shares. And then really looking at the analytics, and that would be more of an advanced class. But the next step is to dig into your Facebook insights and really learn how you can see what time people are clicking on. You can see your engagement rate of your posts. And that's something that once you can start looking at those insights and analytics, you can fine tune your strategy to be the most effective. Are there any questions over this page specifically or about Facebook specifically before we open it up to general questions? All right. Well, it is almost 10 o'clock and I really want to respect your time. So let's keep it open. I'm happy to stay on as long as we need for any questions. But if you do need to jump off, I really want to thank you for your time. I hope you guys learned something. And if there's anything specific that you would like to reach out about, you can always reach me at julie@tallycreative.com, and we'd love to talk to you more.
And Julie, the thing that I want to remind everybody, this is an 8-week series, so it'd be next Wednesday, the 31st at the same time, 9 a.m., and we'll go through a series of 8 presentations. I will send out a reminder and then registration as well.
Yeah.
Again.
Every week will be on a little bit of a different topic, but hopefully it kind of builds a momentum and they'll build on each other. So every week will be just a little bit different of a different area of marketing that we feel everyone could use a refresher course or even a little bit of motivation for.
Excellent.
Are there any questions or anything anyone would like any clarification on before we get off today?
None here.
Did you learn something?
I did, yeah. I took a lot of good things from the class, from the training.
So I guess if I were to give you homework this week, it would be to really think about what platform you want to focus on, 1 or 2 platforms, and then really set that goal for yourself of how often you'd like to post and then stick to it. The next thing is really creating that calendar. It's very similar to meal prepping, if any of you have done meal prepping, but you know, if you have a list at the grocery store and you have your calendar and you have the time set aside, you are so thankful to yourself when it's time to eat supper and you have it all ready, right? So we really talk about a planned strategy, not a fast food strategy, but you will, any time that you spend planning and strategizing will come tenfold when you actually go to post. So it's not wasted time to think through these things. I also recommend, as you find articles or as you take photos or as you get testimonials from clients, start a good folder that's just your, social media 2021 folder. And as you come across those things, let's say that you just finished a project and you take a picture on your phone. Maybe you're not ready to post it yet because that company hasn't had their open house, so you don't want to share it first, but that would be something to put into that folder. So then as you are building out your calendar or as you're doing your scheduling for the week, you have a whole folder of content that's ready to go. So you're not scrambling as you're doing it, and you'll be so grateful. It's kind of like having a recipe book, so then you have something to pull from. So start that folder and put a few things in it, and that'll be a great thing to start.
Hey, Julie, you do have one question in the chat
Yeah.
box. How do we schedule posts?
Okay, so scheduling posts, when you go into Facebook, there's a back-end site and it's going to be under scheduling tools. And if you just create a post on your Facebook page, it won't let you schedule. You can only post. But if you go into scheduling tools, there's a whole lot of tools there. And one of them is you can schedule posts, and you can schedule out for the next, I believe it's like 6 weeks. And so you can schedule posts and you can save them. You can set the time and the date that you want to schedule it. We always recommend to set the time just a little bit different. So don't schedule it at 9 o'clock, schedule it at 9:04 a.m. just so that it looks a little bit more organic. And you can schedule that out. So then the nice thing is once they're scheduled, you can review them, you can edit it. If something changes, you can delete it, you can change the day. But having them in there in your scheduled posts under scheduling tools is a huge help. And then right in that same thing is under insights. That's the next thing I'd encourage you to dig into and look at those insights a little bit, and those will give you the statistics on how your posts are doing. Did you have a question, Leo?
Yes, I did. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a nonprofit organization and I'm trying to get it to where people can donate to my nonprofit for their birthday dedication.
Yes.
And I was having issues getting my logo actually put on my nonprofit image.
Uh-huh.
And I noticed that people seem to link more readily to nonprofits that have a logo that shows when they're actually going through choosing places to dedicate their birthday to.
Right. Yeah, and I'm sure if you Google, like it's going to be based on the pixels of the logo or the size of the file. And so I would encourage you to Google the donate logo image size, and that will tell you. And if you want to email me, that's even something I could help you with. But it's typically just a general resize. And then once you have that image the right size, it'll upload really easily. But it might just be that your logo file is too large. And so it's just sizing that down. And then making sure that if your logos, let's say that your logo's like a rectangle, making sure that it's sized down enough that it will fit in a nice circle and not cut off.
Okay.
Yep.
Julie, you have another question. Facebook Lives, what are they really good for?
Facebook Lives are great if you want to interact with people. So if you want people while you're doing your video to be able to ask a question, let's say that you do a Facebook, let's say you're having a virtual open house and you do a Facebook Live, people could ask, can you show me the showroom? What, if you want to do a video and let people interact with you, a Facebook Live's a great way to do that. We always talk about the lifespan of a video and the quality, and the lifespan of the video and the quality and the cost should kind of go hand in hand. So if you're doing a video that is going to go out to a lot of people, it's going to live a long time, and it's going to be somewhere permanent, that's when you would want to do a recorded video, maybe professionally done, scripted out a little bit. But a Facebook Live is great if you just want to be casual, if you want to have the interaction with people. Let's say that you're releasing a new product and you want people to be able to ask about it, or if you want to show the front and back and people can make comments. And so I'd say if you want the interaction or just to have that more candid thing, a Facebook Live would be great. I wouldn't recommend it like to live long term. A Facebook Live is great for something fun, fast, instant, candid, kind of like a phone call, but not something that's gonna represent you as a brand forever. Does that make sense? No one's as good live as they are recorded.
And then one more question for you. Any recommendations for topics to avoid? I've seen more Facebook contacts who say their posts disappeared or are in Facebook jail.
Yeah, we, especially as a business, it's hard, and now more than ever, we always, we say never post political, never post, obviously putting anyone down, putting a customer down, never post. When you're on Facebook, you really are on display for the world. So you need to be on your best behavior, your best self. And if you do start putting controversial things, that's when often things go into jail. If you start putting out facts that Facebook doesn't believe are true. So just really, it can be a tough place, but we have really decided for our business, we're not going to take a stance on these big issues, which on your personal page, if you're representing yourself, that's one thing, but on a business page, you really have to pretend like you're going to a chamber event and you're putting yourself out there. If you were at a networking event, you wouldn't walk in and say your political views. So again, that's a personal conversation. So just know when you put things on Facebook, it has to be 100% professional. It needs to be something that you're not going to regret years down the road. And so it's hard to put that filter on sometimes, but your business page needs to be as professional as possible and not having your personal views in it.
All right, and then we'll send out Julie's contact information to you. So if you have any follow-up questions between now and next week, feel free to reach out to her. But we will end today's session and then plan on next Wednesday, the 31st at 9 a.m. Central Time.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.